The strongholds, where's the battlefield for us? In the mind. So what is a stronghold? It's a concept. It's a precept. It's what we've conceived life to be. It's what our reality is.
Or perceived reality.
Perceived reality. Yeah, and the perception becomes, we've made and that really comes from our experience, what the world puts on us, and then what we experience becomes our reality because it's all we know. So how many understand that your sense of identity is important to how you're going to interact with the rest of the world?
Yep.
If you have a strong sense of identity, you're able to go and make things happen. If you have a weak sense of identity, you're going to go and be pushed around by the circumstances that the world brings to you versus you dictating to the world. Jesus came to bring us our identity back. The identity that we lost in sin. The fact that sin is in the world allows that false sense of identity to take a root in our mind as we're being raised. So the battlefield is in our mind. It says here, our souls, wrought with insecurities, are highly sensitive to criticisms and complaints of others. That is, if you have a bad self-identity. I know people that have a strong sense of identity, they're very rarely swayed by the criticisms, or at least they're not noticeable too much. Criticisms hurt oftentimes. There's no way to get around it. But you can't allow them to sway. People will criticize you. I've never been criticized so much. See, I like critiquing better than criticizing. I don't mind a critique. Here's where I learned to critique in an art class when I was as an artist in college and painting. At the end of you'd have 3 weeks or whatever to come up with art in a painting. And at the end of that, part of the grading process was everybody had to put their artwork up there. And so one night would be no painting. We would sit there and we'd talk about what we like and what we don't like, or what was the artist's intention and how was the composition, how did it fulfill the assignments required to use this color or this combination of colors or thus and so. And we would sit there and critique it at how well or unwell a person achieved the goal. What was your goal? And you could critique somebody and you learned how to take it under constructive criticism. But when criticism comes, it's not constructive in nature. It hurts the soul. It hurts the risk that was taken. And we need to be able to receive constructive criticism. And so we should bring constructive critiquing. I don't even like to use the word criticism. I like the word critique because it makes more sense. Maybe it's more sensitive. I don't know. But we need to receive a critique, but not criticism, and that's such a negative connotation to it. Concepts and perceptions are built into our thinking pattern through the words and the ideas of others. And that's the point, right? And if you guys have any thoughts or whatever, let me know. I mean, I know there's not a lot of fill in the blank here in this particular lesson, but again, my stepdad goes, "You little homo, you'll never amount to nothing." Reinforced with, "I don't have any money." Reinforced with, "The cops were at our house every Friday night because he would get drunk and steal the check." You see what I'm saying? He'd pick a fight with my mom, and then he'd use whatever money was in the house to go out. Now, when I went to college, and I didn't have that experience every day, and I read the Bible, and I saw what God said, "Hey, you're a child of God. You're born again." But when it came time to accepting personal responsibility, when it came time to being under pressure, when I was under pressure, I may not have criticized others around me and been negative towards them, but when I was under pressure and I had to be responsible, and I had to actually, put my, follow through to my life, but what happened was those words, whether I heard his words echo in my brain or not, the behavior that came out was the, "You little loser, you'll never amount to anything." The best way to handle this is to go out and get drunk. I didn't have to have that in my head consciously because it was interwoven. You understand? It was interwoven into my coping mechanism. Though I was born again in my spirit, this is how you really deal with stress, was interwoven because of the experience that I've received from. So how did I find myself in this? One bad decision, and a self-professed Christian. Finally, I had a friend tell me, "Greg, how can you call yourself a Christian and live the way you do?"
Right.
Oh, who are you to judge? Oh, I was so mad at him. Who are you to judge me? He was God's ambassador
That's right.
of love.
That's right.